How long did your last doctor's visit take? See why some women say they're not getting the attention they need.
And your favorite guys next door say... This is News Channel 3 tonight.
I figure I've got 85 blood brothers in the tri-state area.
One woman's testimony to how important your blood donation is. Good evening, I'm Timmy in Huntington.
And I'm Samantha Cozy in Charleston.
Tomorrow starts the 4th of July weekend. That means somewhere, someone will probably be in an accident and need your help. That's one of the reasons the American Red Cross is typically low on blood during the holidays. News Channel 3's Della Cruz joins us now live from the Red Cross in Huntington, where a special Donorama is about to take place. Della?
Yes, it is, Tim. The American Red Cross says with the extra day this holiday weekend, there's still time for you to drop down tomorrow and donate before you celebrate. Rebecca Plumley gives blood several times a year, a gift she wants to share with others, even though...
I don't like needles, but I give anyway. You never know whenever I need it or someone in my family needs it or grandbabies.
Betty Porter has received 85 pints of blood within the past 4 years. Her physician, Dr. Reilly Carbonell, says blood loss in the colon leaves Porter anemic.
I couldn't do my housework. I could just go from the couch to the TV, to the kitchen, and back to bed.
What did you think was wrong with you?
I thought I was just getting old. I thought that's the way all old people felt.
Betty is thankful for generous donors like Rebecca for giving her her life back.
I died. I couldn't get blood. I figure I've got 85 blood brothers in the tri-state area.
We're giving these T-shirts away as a thank you to the donors who come into our Huntington and Charleston Donoramas tomorrow. And it's just a way to say thanks for helping to save a life.
Cheryl Gergley says with the Red Cross being closed on the 4th, the agency wants to make sure hospitals are ready for holiday emergencies.
We have to collect the blood in advance of the need, so we have to be able to have the blood to supply the hospitals. They depend upon the Red Cross to supply their blood. They have no other source. It's the Red Cross that gets the blood. It's actually the donors who get the blood to the hospitals when they come in and donate.
Right now I am at the American Red Cross here in Huntington on Veterans Memorial Boulevard. Tomorrow you can come down during the hours of 11 to 7 to give blood. And of course the Charleston Civic Center will also be holding a Donorama during those exact same hours, Tim.
It's really a great thing that we have a chance to do this every year. I guess we, saying WSAZ, is proud to be a sponsor of this once again.
And it's most appreciated.
Definitely. We can see that from your story. Thanks, Della. Many of us will hit the road tomorrow after work to kick off our holiday weekend, and you'll probably see a lot of semi-trucks on the road. To make sure you stay safe, the drivers in the American Trucking Association have a few tips. Do a walk around if you ever even leave the driveway. Check the tires, wipers, and fluids. And just a few minutes spent inspecting could save you all that time and money later on. When you get on the road, be aware of other vehicles' blind spots. Remember, if you can't see the mirrors on a truck, the driver can't see you. If you must use a cell phone, pull off the road and park. Those distracted drivers are the ones that cause the accidents, and we have talked about that so much recently. And when you get back on the entrance ramp, remember highway traffic has the right of way, so try to merge smoothly and don't stop or slow down suddenly. Little by little, our region's roads are getting better all the time. People who live in Putnam and Mason counties will be glad to know that one of their most dangerous roads, Route 35, will soon be much safer. The governor's office announced today that they've received federal approval to widen Route 35 to 4 lanes between Henderson, that's in Mason County, and I-64 in Putnam. Travel safety seems to be top of mind for the FAA. Airports will be crawling with the agency's inspection weekend. Past problems on carriers like Alaska Air have the feds worried that there might be more problems out there and that safety problems might be hidden from plain sight. But the Airline Passengers Association says it's shocking that the FAA feels the need to send special inspection teams out in force. The first raid on a video gambling parlor in West Virginia happened just today, and Cabell County Sheriff says it's only the beginning. Sheriff Cecil Garton finished a 2-week undercover sting with a raid on the Pot of Gold in Barbersville. Garton says complaints of gambling in the store's game room prompted an investigation into the gray machines there. After undercover officers received cash payouts there, deputies cleaned out the 19 video gaming machines and confiscated more than $2,500. Sheriff Garton says the store's records show it's just a front for a gambling den.
They tell you they've been making a pot of money at Pot of Gold. I tell you that. Anytime we get a complaint, we're going to send somebody out. We're going to get a buy, and we're going to take all their money.
After the raid, Pot of Gold owner Joseph Nelson turned himself into police. He faces a misdemeanor gambling charge and is free on bond tonight. Today, Governor Cecil Underwood state police to assist local communities in gray machine investigations. Underwood says more illegal video machines may be on their way to West Virginia. He spent 12 years in prison for a crime he says he did not commit. Now, Wilbur Thomas is going after the city of Huntington and more in a civil lawsuit. Thomas was released from prison in October for the rape of a Marshall University student. He was convicted on the basis of evidence that did not exist. Now he has filed a civil rights lawsuit for $1 million. Those named in the suit: the City of Huntington, the Police Department, the Cabell County Commission, and the Sheriff's Department. Mr. Thomas now lives in Birmingham, Alabama. He says yes more often than he says no. And if you walk down the streets of Charleston, just about everybody knows or at least has heard of him. As News Channel 3's Diane Dimoff reports, tonight, 77-year-old Frankie Veltri was honored for his lifelong commitment to helping other people in Charleston.
It's a party. The guest of honor, Frankie Veltri. He's a hero. Many people here in Charleston.
He's the greatest guy I ever knew, I guess.
And I thought he's a wonderful man and so generous.
Charleston is much better for his having been a part of the community, I think.
Since 1966, Frankie has served more than 2,000 free Thanksgiving dinners. The table was turned Wednesday night. He was served dinner in recognition of his community service.
He's done so many good things for so many people that I felt it was time for the city to say thank you.
I feel very great about it, you know. It's an honor.
Frankie has touched many people's hearts. He helped Dallas Dillon during one of the roughest parts of his life.
He helped me a lot.
And how has he helped you?
Anytime I need money, give me money. Give me a place to live before.
What's a party without a cake? Check this out. It's a replica of the old Holly Hotel. That's where Franklin fed the poor. His daughter, Regina, remembers those days fondly.
Going to the hotel and stuff and watching how he helped all those people, it was amazing to me.
Frankie says he enjoys helping others.
I've just, you know, got a soft heart for people. I never use the word no. It's always yes.
And it's easy to see why so many people love Frankie. The President of the United States and even the Pope sent greetings to Mr. Veltri on this day, Frankie Veltri Day in Charleston. Another big surprise, a $1,000 check for the Frankie Veltri Dinner Fund, so a lot more people will benefit from tonight. The best of the best in arts, I should say, and crafts can be found in Jackson County, West Virginia this weekend. Every year, thousands of people will make their way to the Mountain State Art and Craft Fair in Ripley. It's a step back in time. You can buy cornmeal and your favorite apple butter. More than 200 exhibitors show their wares, everything from one-of-a-kind wooden toys to handcrafted candles. There really is something for everybody up there.
Oh, we like glass. We have seen some, pretty teddy bears made out of real fur, and we've just had a really good time, food, and just it's fun. We come every year.
And you can't forget the demonstrations like the Bee Man. Ooh, gets them all over his beard. And, of course, the great entertainment to really get those toes tapping. The fair, by the way, runs through Sunday in Ripley. It's just a great time if you have a chance to go. You and your family may have a trip planned there this summer. Disney World we're talking about, but the Magic Kingdom wasn't exactly magical at all for one little boy held hostage at gunpoint. And do you get the attention you need when you go to the doctor? See why some women feel they're getting shortchanged by their HMO.
And I'm putting the finishing touches on my weekend forecast. In some of the mountains, sleeping bags in the 40s the next couple nights. I'll tell you about it ahead from the First Warning Weather Lab.
You're watching WSAZ News Channel 3, where your news comes first. Live with Samantha Cozy and Tim Ear. This is News Channel 3 Tonight.
First Warning Weather, brought to you by Boyd County Ford in Ashland.
Coming up tomorrow morning, we'll have all your news and sports headlines from overnight, plus a Consumer Report segment.
And a great weekend ahead for your 4th of July. It's heating up and clearing out. I'll have your forecast.
We hope to see you tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock.
Now, First Warning Weather.
It's the kind of thing, hopefully, you only see in the movies.
In fact, the perfect storm does arrive in theaters this weekend, but for one group of fishermen, the script became real life in October of 1991. That's when their boat, the Andrea Gale, was caught off the New England coast for days until the Coast Guard found them. The storm was called perfect because the weather conditions at the time and how they created it.
At the height of the storm, we had seas significantly greater than 40 feet, sometimes as high as 50 feet high, winds in excess of 100 miles an hour.
And the government forecaster who first described the storm as perfect says to this day it has not been matched. And I read that book about Andrea Gale. It was just incredible to imagine that something so big was happening.
I can't wait to see the movie.
Now you remember the storm.
Well, you know, we were in the middle of a very dry fall here, and this storm, since it missed us, accentuated the dryness, and fall and dryness in our part of the world means brush fires. A very bad late October for brush fires in our area. The smoke so thick back in the fall of 1991, during the storm out, the perfect storm at sea, high school football games were canceled that Friday night because of the thickness of the smoke, the dryness around the storm here, accentuated by the winds blowing around that gale over the ocean. Okay, let's go on to our weather video for tonight. We're going to take you north to Ripley, West Virginia, home of the Mountain State Art and Craft Fair. They're paddle boating out on the lakes right there at Cedar Lakes. And you see the puffy cumulus clouds overhead? Well, in some areas in northern Jackson over toward Roane County, there was a brief shower during the late afternoon. Oh, by the way, let's go back to the Arts and Crafts Fair last year. We started at 90 when the fair opened, and by Sunday, business was way down because the temperature was up near 100. Much better conditions for both vendors and for fairgoers this time around. From 78 today, well, we'll get warm by Sunday at 87, but I think everyone will admit that this year with sunshine is going to be much more comfortable and much better they're enjoying. Get out there and enjoy that fair. So it's mid to upper 60s right now. Any showers have now died away in the mountains, and at 87% humidity, as the winds lighten up overnight and the temperature falls into the upper 50s, there'll be some patchy dense fog that will form, especially along the river valley. So there are the light showers that have exited from Beckley. Also, showers have moved offshore at Myrtle Beach. That means a decent weekend setting up down at the Myrtle Beach Grand Strand. And for us, decent means we're pushing the clouds away and this huge area of clear skies coming in. So we think we'll have 3 or 4 days of bright sunshine across our area. Bright sunshine that at least for tomorrow will be refreshing because of a north wind. 80 degrees will feel very comfortable. Now over the weekend we'll get into a southerly flow, so the temperatures will warm back into the 80s with a ton of sunshine. The only exception in the mountains of West Virginia. The tallest mountains, for example, Canaan Valley, Snowshoe, Hawthorne Valley will hit 75. The lower state parks from Watoga down to Pipestem and Babcock, about 80 by the end of the weekend. So let's pinpoint that forecast. And your first warning report under clear skies. Cool temperatures, good sleeping weather overnight. Again, patchy fog to form in the pre-dawn hours from 55 open countryside to 60 downtown. Tomorrow, sunshiny skies with that refreshing north wind. The burn index will be something to be careful about. You won't feel getting a sunburn tomorrow because of the refreshing nature of the air. High temperature, 80 degrees. Weekend forecast, we've got the River Fest in St. Albans, the River Recreation Festival in Gallipoli, Summer Motion over in Ashland, 85 Saturday, 87 Sunday. Well, we'll call it kind of hot as a firecracker. Monday and Tuesday up around 87 degrees. Right now, the long-range call, Tim, by Independence Day night itself, maybe some natural and artificial fireworks. Could be a thunderstorm by that time.
Okay. Hey, thanks, Tony. We'll just have to wait then. Nice weekend. What's as big as 2 football fields and could hold the entire contents of the Library of Congress twice? We'll tell you about the newest supercomputer. Well, do you get a load of this and you thought they were making them smaller now?
A terrifying situation for a 4-year-old boy and an employee in Walt Disney World today.
Sam, they're being held hostage by the boy's father at the Boardwalk Hotel. The man, who claims to be heavily armed, threatened to commit suicide earlier over some type of domestic dispute with his estranged wife. There are unconfirmed reports that his wife of 14 years is an employee at the park. Other guests at the Boardwalk apparently didn't know what happened until they saw the SWAT team and the media. Disney officials say guests on the perimeter of the area are free to come and go. The man says he would release the hostages if he gets a chance to speak to his wife and 3 other children.
A pizza delivery woman last seen on the job around midnight last night is found dead this morning. It happened in Washington Courthouse, Ohio. The manager at Pizza in Motion said when the employee didn't return last night and calling customers to see if their pizzas had been delivered. When they said no, he called police. Officers are not saying how she died, but they believe she was abducted, robbed, then killed on her delivery route.
You know how many a trillion is? Well, multiply that 12 times, and that's how many calculations the latest IBM supercomputer can do per second. The company is touting it as the fastest computer in the world, but don't expect to go out and buy one anytime soon. The hardware on the computer alone takes up the area the size of 2 basketball courts. It'll be shipped to California and used to protect the nation's nuclear stockpile.
If you have a baby who's starting to get a mouthful of teeth, take a good look at their teething ring. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission and Whitehall Robbins Healthcare is recalling nearly 500,000 of the rings because they can make a baby choke and vomit. The rings were sold with quarter-ounce tubes of baby Ambisol, and they are yellow rabbit shapes. You can call Whitehall Robbins toll-free at the number on your screen for more information about returning the ring and getting a free Ambisol product. The number is 1-800-525-2607. We'll give that to you again a little later in the newscast. Insulin shots are an unpleasant part of being diabetic for many people in this country.
Yeah, but now some doctors hope they have a way to do away with the injections. We'll tell you how they plan to do that in Health Matters just ahead. More and more people are getting their health care from HMOs.
That means doctor visits are more affordable for many people, but a new study says the success of your visit is up to you. UCLA researchers found the average time a patient spends with their HMO doctor is about 10 minutes. Women especially may not be addressing major medical needs with their physician. And while reproductive concerns are usually met, the researchers found HMOs are lacking when it comes to preventive care like nutrition, exercise, and mental health counseling. One doctor says the solution is simple. Do your homework.
When we go and buy a car now, all of us know what sticker price is, what invoice is, how to get quotes online. We all do our homework. None of us do our homework when we go to the doctor.
UCLA researchers based their study on responses from a poll of low-income women.
2,000 people a day are diagnosed with diabetes, and expensive treatments and insulin injections often follow. But now doctors have made a discovery they think may eliminate the need for injections. Researchers in Canada have taken cells from the pancreases of cadavers and injected them into the livers of patients with type 1 diabetes. Amazingly, the patients were able to stop using insulin almost immediately. Diabetics with the transplant would still have to take an anti-rejection medication, but the benefits of the procedure outweigh the downside.
Just being able to eat a meal without having to estimate or think about what it was going to do to my blood sugar.
Larger clinical trials will soon take place at the University of Miami.
A lot of people use the blood thinner Coumadin after they've had a heart attack or blood clots. But now some Swedish researchers say the drug may prevent or reduce the risk of cancer. In an 8-year study, they found people who stayed on their prescription for Coumadin longer had less chances of developing cancers of the bladder, kidney, prostate, ovary, and uterus. But a doctor should monitor your intake of this drug because one of the side effects is internal bleeding. By now, we've almost all heard the phrase.
Can you do it, Sam?
What's up?
No, you got to stick your tongue out when you do it.
You know, I've been practicing all night, you know.
Well, that's pretty good anyway.
Thanks.
For your first time. We'll see what other people are getting in on the phrase. Trust us, you wouldn't want to suspect some of these people. And we'd like to repeat that number on the teething ring recall. That number's on your screen. It's 800-525-2607.
John Rocker was back in New York tonight, and you know the fans don't like him there. But the guy that the fans do like actually got hurt tonight.
Yeah, tough luck tonight, Sam, for a fan favorite. Tonight, a tale of two pitchers. One is quiet, workmanlike, and humble, a former all-star. The other gets more attention sometimes with his mouth than he does on the mound. Rick Reed pitching for the Mets, and John Rocker returns to New York. There's a tale of two different kinds. Huh? You don't think the force was out 700 police officers? Rocker, some fans like him, huh? Getting some high fives. Look at this. Rick Reed takes a shot off of his hand, stays in the game. He feels like he's all right. Well, he's not here. Gives up the home run, and he does not like this one little bit. You don't see Rick get mad too often, but he knows it was a bad pitch, and he's not happy. Later on, John Rocker in the 8th inning, after Rick Reed would leave with a fractured hand. Rocker now trying to get his composure. Strikes out Robin Ventura. In fact, throws a perfect 8th inning, walks off, and has that little look for the New York fans. And the Braves over the Mets. 6-4 is your final. Reds in afternoon action against St. Louis. And this was not good because the Reds just don't have any pitching. Valone gives up the home run early here.
Doesn't sound like they have any fans either.
No, well, would you cheer if you're playing like that? And then Ken Griffey Jr., the only bright spot on this deal, solo home run, but 12-3 Cardinals all over the Reds, and they split that series with Cincinnati. Racing now and call it NASCAR's All-Star Game. The Pepsi 400 this weekend, kind of a symbolic midpoint in the NASCAR season, and what better place to try to win a pole than at Daytona. Night qualifying because, of course, it's a night race this weekend. And we'll check out the highlights. Hey, nice scenery from Daytona, huh? Nice place to be. Neither of the Earnhardts fared very well this night. Ricky Rudd and the Texaco Haviland Ford has been very close to getting things together. Indeed, he does. Nice speed here, nice lap. He would sit on the pole until his Robert Yates teammate, Dale Jarrett, takes the flag, if you will, and the bud pole, 187 miles an hour. So Dale Jarrett with his 10th Winston Cup pole, and here he is afterwards.
Again, the credit goes to Todd Parrott and his crew of guys, the fab shop and the motor department. They do just a fantastic job, and it's great that Robert Yates Racing can be on the front row here again.
The Senior Open this weekend, and one of the few times where the older guys take center stage from the flat bellies, as Lee Trevino likes to call them. Bruce Fleischer, 8 under par. He is torching the field. Jack Nicklaus, though, with a fine 67. He is at 4 under. And finally, our Fabulous 5 golf hole site at WSAZ.com has been busy. Early totals, the par 4 fifth at Shawnee leading the vote for our Fabulous 5. The 17th, a par 4 at Scarlet Oaks, is next, and the 2nd at Guyane, also a par 4, is 3rd. Log on to WSAZ.com and vote for your favorite hole and fill out the entry form so you can play it with us when we tally the votes for our Fabulous 5. One late trade, big news for the Indians, Tim. David Justice traded to the Yankees for Ricky Leday and some players to be named later. The Indians trying to shake things up, I guess.
No, they need to do something, boy.
And the Reds are going to have to do something like that here pretty soon, too.
Fans are pretty upset. Well, that's true. Yeah, you bring up a good point here. You know who's coming up next? Voila! Stick around.
What do you get when you combine a nun, a priest, and 3 beer-guzzling guys who say, "What's up?"
Well, let's find out.
What's
It was a pretty funny afternoon in Grand Rapids, Michigan, Sam. The most quoted Budweiser spokespeople since the Bud Frogs made a trip to the Midwest and found they have some fans in high places, from a convent to a church. They're getting that guy, too. Just let the tape roll. To all the big bank buildings downtown, and that's a priest they're doing it to right there.
The words "every move you make" took on a whole new meaning for rock star Sting and his band today. They took on the world chess champion Garry Kasparov in Times Square. The match didn't last long. It took Kasparov less than an hour to say checkmate.
How'd you like to get a piece of this pie? Well, it's actually cake. 500 pounds of cheesecake topped with 50 cherries the size of baseballs. It took 15 chefs to make this giant dessert for the Taste of Chicago Festival. This weekend, country music crooner Randy Travis has the honors of cutting the first slice. It's a pretty big job, too, since it's 5 feet wide and 4 feet tall. I'd like to just have about that much of it. I love that stuff.
That reminds me of strawberry shortcake, which is my favorite. Hey, by the way, the weather is also going to live up to expectations of that wonderful strawberry cheesecake down at the Myrtle Beach Grand Strand. There is one little problem, though. The wind coming in off the water has backed some jellyfish into the surf, and some swimmers are being stung. Nothing too serious in that it's not widespread, but if you've ever been at the beach and jellyfish come in and you get stung, you know it can be quite uncomfortable. We'll call it sunny, 85, the onshore wind tempering the heat this weekend. I can't think of a better weekend weather-wise to be down at the beach than this weekend, guys.
Well, it was beautiful here today, I thought, Tony.
Definitely
cool.
Gorgeous.
The Tonight Show is next. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you. Next newscast is at 5 in the morning.
Have a good night.
Happy birthday to my wife, too.
Oh, yeah, happy birthday.
Have to say that.
Watched by more people than all other local station newscasts combined. Thanks for choosing WSAZ News Channel 3, where your news comes first.